Yes, first some 2-2 at Pittodrie, then 0-0 at Parkhead, but at Dens Park Dundee last night, at last a positive outcome. A Brian McClair goal put Celtic through and Aberdeen out, and now the Parkhead men will face Hearts, conquerors of Kilmarnock, in the 4th round. In a moment, the views of last night's hero for Celtic, goalkeeper Pat Bonner, who performed the occasional miracle in keeping Aberdeen out. First, a brief look at the highlights described by Grampian Television's Alan Saunders.
Aberdeen got a hint of what was to come as early as the 2nd minute. A needle-sharp pass from Paul McStay split the defence, and Brian McClair just failed to cash in. But it was Aberdeen who very nearly took the lead in the 10th minute. A superb Miller cross from the left found Dodds, and his header flew just wide of the Celtic post. The Parkhead team then began to dominate the game, coping much better than Aberdeen with the terrible conditions, and a powerful run by McInally ended with the tall striker driving a shot high over the bar. The goal that killed off the Dons came in the 17th minute. McStay worked a 1-2 in midfield, pirouetted away from a defender and curled a pass into McClair's path. From 18 yards, he fired in a low shot that gave Leighton no chance. The rest of the half belonged to Celtic, and 5 minutes from the interval, they almost increased their lead when a McLeod corner was headed inches wide by Johnston. After the interval, Aberdeen brought Weir on for Connor and immediately threw everything into attack. Twice in 5 minutes, they had good efforts on target. First, a bet long-range shot was saved by Bonner, then Wright tested the keeper with a rasping 20-yarder. But despite dominating the play, nothing would go right for Aberdeen around the box, and they almost lost another goal as Celtic hit back on the break. McStay robbed Bet in midfield, his pass sent Johnston through, but his snapshot was well saved by Leighton. Aberdeen's last chance to save the game fell to Peter Weir a few minutes from the end. He tried to chip the ball over Bonner, only to see the keeper brilliantly push the ball clear. A disappointing night for the Dons, but tremendous entertainment for more than 21,000 fans in atrocious conditions.
Well, Pat Bonner, first of all, what do you remember about that last miraculous save?
I just remember the ball coming across and Roy, I think, slipped and caught Danny unawares, and I think Peter Weir should have hit it with his left peg, and he pulled it back across Danny and gave me a chance to see it, and he tried to curl it around me, and I got my hand to it, fortunately.
You were under a great deal of pressure at the end, Pat, weren't you?
We were indeed. The first half belonged to us. I think we played great football. The conditions were really bad on the night. Aberdeen, to be fair, came back into the second half and put us under a lot of pressure, but we defended very, very well.
What kind of sense of relief was there in the Celtic dressing room afterwards?
Overjoyed, I think, that we got through, first of all, and that overjoyed for the fans that they can go on and see us now in the next round against Hearts.
Yes, how gruelling were these 3 ties against Aberdeen, Pat?
Well, I think we played them so often throughout the season that each player knows each other, and it's hard to break down, especially with the defence that Aberdeen have got, and it's hard to break them down. And fortunately, last night we played very, very well in the first half and got the goal that clinched it for us. And
you've got Hearts in the next round. Do you believe if you beat Hearts, you'll go all the way and win the cup?
I think so. Now with Rangers out and Aberdeen out, which two of our main rivals, we have a great chance now, and it's given us the boost also to go on and hopefully win the league too.
What is bad news for Scotland, Pat, is that you've hit good form at the moment because you're likely to be between the sticks next week at Hampden for Ireland. You're looking forward to that one? Looking forward to it. There's going to be a big support there. There's going to be a big support coming across from Ireland. I think they're taking in 3 games, the rugby on a Saturday, and possibly come and watch ourselves against Hearts later on that day. So it's going to be a great week for us. Wish you well anyway, Pat. Thank you. Thank you.
Roy Aitken.
Wednesday morning will start just the same as any other day for the 28-year-old Celtic captain. He'll be up early, feeding and dressing the children before he takes 6-year-old Ashley to school on his way to training at Parkhead. Out of his Celtic strip and back in civvies, Roy and his wife are home birds.
He comes home at 2:30 and if there's messages, something, he'll nip down and get them, and then helps me prepare the tea, helps me get kids bathed, into bed. He's quite happy. Give him a bag of sweeties, sit in front of the telly, and he's quite happy.
I think we're very fortunate in the fact that being a footballer, we finish training most days at around about 12:30, and you know, I enjoy coming home and getting John and taking down the shore or picking Ashley up from school. So a lot of people think that when you're a footballer, you're away from home a lot, but on average, I reckon I'm at home more than an MD.
Throughout Roy's career, he stayed out of the limelight, although he's always kept the football writers busy. His primary school in Ardrossan didn't even have a football team, but within weeks of starting secondary school he was playing for Ayr United. He signed on an S form with Celtic just before he turned 14, and as captain of the boys' club won every competition the team entered. His baptism in the firsts came in a League Cup tie against Stenhousemuir when he was still at school. As one of the youngest centre-halves in the club's history, he posed manager Jock Stein some unusual problems.
My first league game was against Aberdeen in '76, and I had to go to Aberdeen. And normally when we go to Aberdeen we leave on a Friday, so I had to go into the headmaster that morning and ask him if I could get the day off. And him being a good Celtic supporter, agreed. And during that season I was training, like, I didn't see the boys until a Saturday. Like, so they were training every day and I was doing my schoolwork every day. I used to go to McGrain's about 4 o'clock and get a quick bite to eat there and catch the 4:20 train to training.
Since he joined Celtic in 1975, Roy has played for his club more than 500 times and scored more than 50 goals. He can boast 5 championship medals, 3 Scottish Cups, the last claimed 2 seasons ago, and 1 League Cup.
And the most successful season was probably 1976-77, when I was it was my first full season with the club, and I was playing with players like Kenny Dalglish, Bobby Lennox, Danny McGrain, John Doyle, Ronnie Glavin, a lot of great Celts, Joe Craig, a lot of really good Celts in the team, and I was very fortunate that we won both the Scottish Cup and the league that year.
I remember he was a great competitor. Roy was always a lad. Consistency was his best part of his game. You know, he was never ever great, but never bad. He was always really, really consistent. Came when the boss was there, Mr. Stein, then Billy was there, and now it's David. And Big Roy just plays the same, through thick and thin. Plays at the back, or plays in the middle. He can play anywhere for you and play well.
I remember scoring 2 against Rangers one day at Ibrox. Derek Purlane scored 2 that day as well. The first goal, Ronnie Glavin, a shot across the goals, and I came into the back post and slid it in. But the second one was a bit special because I think we just went behind 2-1, and John Doyle took a free kick out on the right, and as John fired it in, I met it in the volley.
Aiken scores, 2-2.
And there's 2 or 3 that really stick out in my mind. And the cup final when we beat Dundee, the 100th cup final when we beat Dundee 2-1, the Frank McGarvey goal was really special that day because we were 15 minutes to go, and we were really down and out that day. And all credit to Davy Provan, first of all, for doing a tremendous free kick, and then Frank for popping up at the right time for when I supplied the cross. Great header.
To add to his club honours, Roy has been capped 27 times to date and scored once for Scotland in the friendly against Romania last year when Kenny Dalglish got his 100th cap. Yet success in Europe has always eluded him.
And that's one disappointment in my career, is not doing well for Celtic in Europe, because Celtic have a great tradition of doing well in European football. In recent years, we've had the games against Rapid Vienna, fiasco. That was a big dent, I suppose, in our make-up that day, because I mean, we felt as if we'd done everything right that night. You know, we'd taken the game to Rapid and we'd really overpowered them. And obviously because of the incident, everybody knows the incident, the water throwing incident, but I still think that they definitely played up to the incident themselves. It's another part of the game, and we were obviously disappointed at getting beat against Rapid Vienna, but we're hoping that maybe in years to come we'll do better.
Wednesday night, when the centre-half has to take centre stage at Parkhead, will be one of the most nerve-wracking moments of his 12 years with Celtic.
It'll be a nerve-jangling night, I suppose, but I'm really looking forward to it. In the past, there's been some great nights involving Man United at Parkhead. I remember the Bobby Lennox, Jimmy Johnson one, the Danny McGrain one. It's a night for the fans and the players to get together. The fact that playing Man United this time of the season, when we're really, you know, we're pushing for the championship, then it might be just a wee thing to relax a bit and get some good football and hopefully bring some confidence into the play for the rest of the season.
Everything about Roy is good. What he does in the park is first class, what he does off the park is first class, and he epitomises all that's good about Celtic Football Club.
Yeah, I think for a 33-year-old, Roy deserves his testimonial this year. You know, he's catching up in Danny and the grey hairs are coming out, but seemingly he's getting them died down a wee bit just now, so he'll look good on the night.
Past his best, I think, now. It's a good way to finish, you know, against Manchester United. He'll retire after the game, probably. Maybe buys a drink.
I'm sure he will, Danny. Sally McNair there with Roy Aitken, highly respected by his fellow professionals in the Premier League and beyond, and a worthy captain in the great tradition of Parkhead skippers. This is the superb trophy that they'll be playing for. It should be quite a match between Celtic and Manchester United. Wednesday night, kick-off at 8 o'clock.